Uh, Hello friends, good evening to all. My name is Siddheshwar. As per our daily task, that is video generation on given topic. So today's topic is very interesting about exception handling. The topic is checked and unchecked exception in Java. So let's talk about what is in the exception. Exception is nothing but unwanted, unwanted, unexpected, abnormal situation which is created during execution of program. This is nothing but the exception. And what is the exception handling? Handling that is uh, the best motto of the exception handling is to we have to execute the program up to the last line. So the handling, exception handling is most important. Exception is unwanted error occurred inside the program. So to avoid such type of exception, that is error, so there are different types of classes or different types of blocks are provided inside the Java. And let's talk about this exception handling some classes. These classes are basically included inside the java.lang package, and inside that there is a one parent class. Parent class is its name is throwable class, and throwable class divided in two parts. That is exception and next one is error. So our topic is about the exception only, not for error, because the checked and unchecked exception are occurring inside the exception class only. So talking about the exception again subdivided into two parts. That is the exception, a checked exception and unchecked exception. So let's talk about very simple and real type example of the checked exception. That is, if suppose talking about the example of the checked exception, and the example is like if there is a scenario like in this building there is a bomb, and we came from outside and come at the gate, and the security told us that don't go inside the building. So there is a one bomb is kept inside the building, so it is too much risky to go inside the building. So there is a exception occurred, means there is security tells us don't go inside, but there is a one type scenario there we have to go inside, and we have to do the work. So to avoid the exception occurred, we can take a risk. So such type of scenario is also similar in our Java program also. Inside the Java program, is there is a scenario like thread dot slip inside the bracket, that is a 1000. Its meaning is like when a JVM go provide the one thread to execute the main method, then we told the thread to sleep for 1 second, means 1000 nanosecond. This is one type of very high exception, because at a single time there are lots of threads are created. So if a single thread can stop work for a second, then lots of threads are pending out the back side of that thread. So JVM doesn't accept such type of exception inside the, means the program can be stop execution. So to avoid such type of program, the JVM or compiler checks the particular exception is there, and tells there is exception. If suppose we again want to execute such a program with exception, high exception, Then we have to use a throws keyword uh, after the method we return. Means we use the main method, that is public static void main, and string argument. After that we can use throws exception. Means we are forcefully passing the thread to execute the program. This is nothing but exception. And checked exception means actual meaning is exception occurred which is checked by the compiler during runtime, not a compile time. This is a checked exception. Then talk about unchecked exception. First I will tell you what are the checked exception. The checked exceptions are like IO exception, then SQL exception, then we can say file not found exception, then class not found exception. These are the exception which are generally find the search or observe the compiler during compilation. So this is what about complete checked exception. Then let's talk about the unchecked exception. So as we used the real type example for the checked exception, here also the same example, that is a real time example, is like if suppose we forget to carry a hall ticket to in exam before going from home. So there is a situation like we can't write a paper without hall ticket. So there is this is a run type exception. Means exception occurred during writing the exam. This is unchecked exception. Means we doesn't check the is there, if there we are carried the hall ticket during the or before going from home. So this is a we don't carry the hall ticket to inside the exam hall. So this is a unchecked exception scenario. So talking about in our Java program, this is also similar as a real time example. So unchecked exception is like example is like system out.println inside parenthesis we can write 10 divided by 0. So this is a exception occurred during the compiler during the compilation during the running the program. So this is a arithmetic exception actually. To avoid this exception, we can use a try and catch block inside the Java, and we can avoid this type of exception. But the exceptions, unchecked exceptions are not too much risky as compared to the checked exception, and its probability of coming the exception is very too much less. Means there is a from 1000 program, there is a one program can be come with such type of error. So the compiler doesn't take too much care of such unchecked exception. So the real time the examples or unchecked exceptions are like arithmetic exception, null pointer exception are there. So again number format exception, then index out of bound exception, then array index string index out of bound exceptions are there. So these are the checked and unchecked exception in our Java. So this is all about the checked and unchecked. Thank you for watching.